Hey, there we go. Now you're live.
No,
Yeah, I
yeah.
was wondering about that.
Oh, yeah. And even once it's not a soul to be seen. Okay. What a stuff up that was. Oh man. Hey Steve, how are you? Yeah, well what happened, Steve, is some idiot from down under didn't push the live button, and when he was doing prep for the show last night, he deleted the preset for the live show today. So I had to redo everything at the last minute. So yeah, that was fun and games. And it's like, you're not coming up on board now? Uh-oh, this is not good. Yeah. Plus the alarm clock slept in this morning. It didn't help. Well, should I say the eyelids didn't want to open up. We were performing a really good movie. But yeah, so going back to where we were, hang on a minute, Steve. Don't count the chickens yet. The eggs haven't hatched yet. The future has said that Ray now. Oh, you better turn your mic on too, there, Ray. It says your mic is off.
Yeah, I was over here. Well, the thing is, I just went ahead and brought up YouTube so that way I could follow things a little bit better.
Oh,
Since
okay.
you went live, I could see it. Yeah. So yeah. And I
Yeah.
didn't. What you didn't need the echo, so you know.
Oh, right. Okay. Don't count the chickens yet, Steve. The eggs haven't hatched. Because at the moment, Ray's leading by one egg. He's got 500. Rick lost a limb. He's down to 499. And I'm up to 173. So looks like, hey, Ethan, how are you? So it looks like one of you two are going to be getting the extra cash in your pockets.
And I, like I said earlier, Artie, I really appreciate that, my friend. You didn't have to do that, or you don't have to do that, but you know, hey, it's great. Hey.
At the end of the
Norman Rose says the egg committed suicide.
Of course they did. When they looked at who they had to put up with and see what happens to the eggs in the tree branches, of course they jump. Isn't it so good? He's not here to defend himself either.
No. He's probably trying to put the saplings to bed.
Still.
Rick.
Still trying to put him to bed. But it's so. The whole thing is, look, Ron Moen, how are you, buddy? Haven't seen you for a while. The whole thing is here, like, okay, I'm going to be doing a giveaway anyway for my if it's not my 200, it's going to be my 12 months of live stream, which is going to be in August 7. So either way, I know you guys are going to get it. You guys have helped me out and supported me over the 12 months, and it's my contribution to you guys and saying thank you.
I appreciate that, sir.
So which one of you two guys will get it? But the viewers are going to get it. Everyone's been good in the community, so and we do have a great bunch of followers.
Oh yeah,
we all support one another. We all follow each other, so it's my way of saying thank you for not being able to be there in person. I'm just hoping I can get there for October.
Yeah, I still got to work on that.
But one museum is enough. Where's my little buddy? Here it is. Well, on Tuesday, I'm going up to Sydney. And I'm going with my little buddy. Who's gonna who wants to work and who wants to be fired? No, I won't take that up with that one seat on Tuesday.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend going in with into the consulate with that. You know, that may not be a good thing.
No. But I'm just going to go up and tell them, you know, this is just not on. I'm not going to wait 12 months for a visa application. Because we got the other meet and greet for next May,
right,
as well. And I'm not going to leave things to the last minute because the airfares go up like the rocket at the last minute. So I'm not going to leave for that long.
right.
So I'm going to go up there now and go, look, here's all my documentation. Here's all my paperwork. No one's getting contacting with me. Everything's going around in circles. Deal with it. If you're not going to deal with it, I'm going to go to our government here and say, hey, what's going on here?
Right.
You know, because we're supposed to be allies and everything else. I've been there that many times. So.
Steve just got back from Canada. Nice.
Looks like they don't have much food in Canada if he's making dinner.
Ran out of maple syrup.
Yeah. Hey, Dave, how are you?
God bless you. Hey, Dave.
So yeah, I'm just going to get a ball rolling. I'm still able-bodied to get up there on Tuesday, and get the ball rolling. Because you see, October for me, the way I'm looking at my schedule of my operation, around about end of October, I should be getting back to work. And normally at October is the quiet month for my line of work, because there's all this retraining and regrouping and trying to prioritise work for Christmas. So in October, I'm usually in the US, so that'd be perfect. So they'll be making not being there in May.
Right. I did hit 500, and it's holding at the moment, Dave. I know Rick actually made it to 500 first, but he lost subs somehow, and he's back down to 499 the last I looked. So that like I said, now comes the trick of being able to hold on to the 500 subs.
Yeah, that's the trick.
That's the trick.
I think you guys have been generous with 1 week. I think you should keep it for 2 weeks, because I noticed on my side the algorithm on YouTube goes up and down in the 2 weeks. Because technically,
I won't feel comfortable until I hit about 510, because that gives a little bit of breathing room for those subs to bounce a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it right now being at 500, it's like, hey.
Yeah, bribery is good, Norman. I even flashed at my million. Where is my $1 million? I was flashing my $1 million here last week. Where did my $1 million go? Oh, man, I lost my $1 million. That's right. Rick was here.
That's your problem. Well, money doesn't grow on trees, so he had to steal it.
Yeah. Oh.
You know, Norman, I'm hoping that the video didn't come across that way. I mean, I've basically been at this now since 2014. So coming this December, it'll be 8 years. And every time I've hit, I hit 100, I did a giveaway. I hit 200, I did a giveaway. I hit 300, I did a giveaway. I hit 4, I did a giveaway. And now at 5, I wanted to do it at 500, obviously, because that's the next big milestone. And, I was so close, 484, 485. And it's like, just putting kind of like the Jason did when he hit a couple of his milestones, putting the feeler out there and saying, hey, look, if I can get there, and hold it, then this is what's going to happen. And that's kind of where I'm at. And hey, John number 2.
Hey,
So,
John, how are you?
that's kind of the way it is. That's the way I'm looking at it. I'm not just sitting there going, please subscribe, please. No, that's not.
No. It's the same here. I mean,
Yeah.
the bunch of people we have here, they're a fantastic bunch of people. I mean, as I said, like in my book at the moment, I've got 173. Probably get back down to 171 tomorrow.
Right.
I should be about 200 if all those other ones that I lost. I should be about 250, but I lost a few in the last 3 months, 4 months. Just seems to be falling back every 3. I think it was it Norman or someone else made a comment. I think it was on your
well, yeah, there's a couple of folks. Yeah, there was a couple of folks that had been subs and they got kicked off, and now they had to resub again. So I think, and I know that YouTube has their algorithms, and one of the things that they've always been against, which I get, the sub for sub thing, just to subscribe to somebody just because of the fact that they subscribe to you. I get that. I understand that. And the problem is, and to be honest, I know Anthony Dodge, Model Train Outsiders, talked about this numerous times. Here it is. I've got 500 people that are subscribed to me. I'm subscribed to almost 1,000 people, 1,000 different YouTubers. It's impossible to be able to see everybody's videos that everybody puts out every week, and to hit every live stream that everybody puts out every week. It's you can't do it. And eventually YouTube catches up to that and says, oh, wait a minute, this one here looks like a sub for sub, and there it goes.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to go through and look at it and say, okay, who, oh, wait a minute, I was subscribed to that. Why am I not subscribed to them anymore? What the heck happened there? And I know when I did the 400 sub contest, I actually had some people that had the same issue. They had watched videos, but it had been a while since they had, and they weren't subscribed anymore. And it's like, well, or one of the other things that happened, they went from a public to a private. And of course, if you're a private subscriber, I see the numbers, but I don't know you're there.
You don't know who they are.
So, right, exactly. Yeah. And for contest purposes, for contest purposes, if I don't know you're there, I don't know who you are.
You see, well, the way I look at it like this, like I try to watch everybody's stream as much as I possibly can. And sorry if anyone gets offended, but hey, Dwight, how are you? Please don't take this the wrong way, but I'd go back to watch those ones that support us. Okay, we might have, as I was starting to say before, we may have 200-300 people or subs, or we sub to, and vice versa. But out of that, you probably only have 30 or 40 or 50 of them that keep coming back again and again and again and again. So you keep supporting each other that way.
Yeah.
There are some that will just be like, yeah, okay, I just clicked it on and forgot about you and then come back. It's even like when you're doing a volunteer organisation, I mentioned this a couple of times in my stream, like one of the organisations I was with. We had about 80 members in the crew. And out of that 80, only 25 were doing regular work. The rest of them, they just wanted to join in so they can get free passes to the air show.
I know I missed a couple people here too. Hey, Jerry. Hey, Dwight.
Hey, Daryl. Yeah, I'm going to put a link up here to let someone else come in. So I put my foot down on that. That's a different scenario though, but I put my foot down and go, well, if you want to be a membership, okay, I'd like to take your money, but if you want the benefits out of it, sorry, you got to work for it.
Yeah,
but on this one, This one here, we
Yeah.
just help each other out. I mean, you have a look. We follow each other to each other's channel, no matter how bad or good it is. I mean, there's no bad channel, no good channel in here.
Yeah. And I hear what you were saying earlier, Dave, about disagreeing with the whole sub for sub thing, and I guess I don't know. There's two sides to every coin. You can look at it as it's not good for YouTube, but then it's not good for us either when they do stuff like that. So it's a flip. It's a coin flip. I get it. I see both sides, but it kind of stinks.
It is, but it isn't. But see, what it does is, I mean, I can understand the logic where they're going with this. It's to catch all those. It's to catch those phonies out.
Yeah.
My brother would be one of them. Okay. My brother will be one of them that will come up with it. And what it is, I mean, look how easy it is to make so many fake profiles.
Mm-hmm.
Just to get them up. And they'll make all these profiles up, and they use that to up their numbers.
Yeah. Yeah. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it the honest way. I don't do shitty things like that.
Same.
So.
And you see it all the time. They do this sort of stuff just to up the numbers to make themselves look good, and they just create these. He is a phony. On the real McCoy. Hey Jeff, how are you? At least I get out and do a bit of work. I'm the real deal. I like to be able to sleep at nights.
Yep.
I
agree. I agree, Dave. You're right. Like I said, you've got your core, and I think that's what Artie was getting at. You've got the core folks that are always in the streams and helping each other out, and and then you get other folks that are just watchers.
Yeah,
and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Yeah.
No. They're the ones that are taking incriminating photographs of us, and they're going to hold it against us.
Yeah, right, exactly. Hey, Rusty.
I swear someone in immigrations, I swear someone in the US embassy has been looking at my streams and go, no, we're not letting this bloke back in the country.
And it's one of the, Dave brought up something else too. I know, because we talked about this while we were up at Strasbourg, and that's the fact that here it is. He's got the subs, but he doesn't have the watch time.
Yeah.
To have the joint, and it's like I was looking at mine earlier. I'm thinking, well, shoot. I mean, one thing you look at, it says I've got 6.3 thousand hours of watch time. I'm like, oh, great. But then when you look and you actually see what the YouTube algorithm is, I'm like 2,000 short. I'm like, really? So I've got 6,000 hours, but only 2,000 of it actually counts. And I'm like, how is that possible? Oh, I guess it's because of the fact that I went back and was watching some of the old stuff. But, it's fine.
Yeah, well, see, what I've done is like, you can't always watch a lot of the streams, watch some points of it, as Steve's saying there. But I started to do with a lot of this other, like the regular guys in the gang, because we do have that much content at times. And what I do at time to time, I go through my list. And during the night, my invisible other is watching it.
Right. Exactly. Right.
And two people suggested to do that, and that was Sparky and Heath. And it keeps our numbers up, and it keeps everybody else's numbers up. And that's why I couldn't hear anyway, because my invisible other put the mute button on it, so I could get some sleep this morning.
Absolutely, Dave. And I mean, that's the thing. I mean, and I know Jerry had put out something earlier. Hey, Dwayne, earlier he's trying to get, I think he's trying to get up to 1,000. 1,000 subs, and it's going to be the same thing. It's helpful. It's helpful when some of the larger channels, like the Crooked River and Eastern, Dave from the Crooked River and Eastern, and Sparky, Dave 107, or Sparky 107, 107, another Dave,
Yeah,
Heath, Jason, when they start getting behind some of us smaller channels, and they say, "Hey, look, you need to go check that." It not only helps us out, but it actually even helps them out, because there may be some folks that are subscribed to you or to me or to Rick, or
exactly.
that are like, "Hey, I don't know this guy. Oh, wait a minute, he's doing something pretty cool over there." And now they've got another sub, and now they're going to get more watch time out of it too. So
Yeah.
what goes around comes around.
Exactly.
It is really what it works.
What I've noticed is, like, in our time frame that we normally on, there's roughly about 50 to 60 regular viewers in
Yep.
our little group. I mean, it's
Yep.
not much. Hey, that's enough.
Nope.
I mean,
Yep.
I can't watch 50, 60 clips a day. That just gets a bit too much. But yeah, that's why the invisible other catches up on the viewing for me. But we're all still there. We still come into our live streams. Like now, we've got some of the people in here. There's some that I haven't seen here for a while. They come in and say hi, and that all helps. And then
Oh yeah.
we'll do what we call here a pub run. We'll go to another side. Okay, I'm doing Saturday night, not much on, but Sunday night, Monday, Tuesday, up to about Wednesday, everybody's doing like a pub run, following each other from one place to another, stalking each other.
Yep. And you're right, Steve. I mean, I don't focus on, in the very beginning. I was really focused on how many subs I had, and then I realized, I'm like, yeah, it'd be great to hit 500, 1,000, 1,500, on so on and so forth. But I also realized that what we do as model railroaders is a very tight knit community.
Yeah.
There aren't very many people outside of the community that are really interested in what we're doing. And unfortunately, Howard Zane brought this up years ago, and I thought it was funnier than heck, but he was right. Model railroaders are seen as people that weren't smart enough to put the trains away after Christmas. That was the perception for years, is the fact that it's not, it's like I said, it was people that were just not smart enough to put trains away after the tree came down. And it's not that.
Well,
it's not that at all. I mean, what we've got
no, it's
here
not that.
is,
No, exactly. Jeez, I didn't
you know,
say that. I'm in trouble. I haven't put my trains away since I was 4 years old. I just added water to it, and they
exactly.
just kept on growing. Yeah.
And you know what, Dave, you're right. I do. Dave and Steve both brought this up, and that's the fact that Wilmer had been doing those not bad videos, and he was finding smaller channels and having the bigger channels, which are most of us now, pull in some of these guys, or be able to watch to see what some of these real small channels were doing. And if you look at something that I've started doing pretty much once a month now, I
Hey,
go
Reed.
through and Reed's train stuff. There's a
Yeah.
new one.
Haven't seen him for a
I
while.
go
He's been
through.
here before.
Yeah, I go through and I look and see who subscribed to me and who I've actually subscribed to. And I've found some of those smaller channels, and I put their links in the description so that everybody else can see them. Now,
Yeah.
granted, I'm only 500 subs now.
Yeah.
I'm not, and I don't know how many Wilmer's got. I'm not sure about that off the top of my head, how many he's got. But again, he would put something out, and then Sparky would get a hold of it, and then Dave would get a hold of it from the Crooked
Yeah.
River and Eastern, and then we would say something so it was that snowball effect. And one of the things I think that really helped some of the channels, and of course I was in it before the wave, but unfortunately the showstopper really put us more in the limelight, because we have the shows like you're doing now, Sidetrack Sunday, You've got Dave does the morning brew.
Yeah.
Anthony Dodge has got his Friday afternoon one. Before there weren't as many. Now it's like everybody is like, oh wait a minute, there's a way to go ahead and do a live stream. Let me try it, and it's a way. It's been a way to build. I mean, it has helped. But there was a few people that got in just as that was happening, and they just skyrocketed because everybody was stuck at home.
Yeah. and the thing is, like, with you guys in America over there, don't get big-headed about this now, what I'm going to say. The screens are not big enough, but there is a lot more modelers, railroad modelers in the US, and that come out than what there is here in Australia. There's a lot of, you could say, closet modelers. The only time you see them is when there's big train shows going on in Sydney or in the regional centres. That's the only time you see them come out. You know who they are. You pass them in the streets or doing the rail fanning. Yeah. But other time you don't see them. You guys are bigger over there. I don't have big numbers, but I mentioned this a couple of times. I like to have that personal touch. When you've got a small number of people, you can communicate with one another and touch base and have that personal touch. But once you start getting up to the higher numbers, it's hard to respond to everybody. Sorry, I like to say hello to everybody. That's my nature. But the thing that I'm getting very, very fed up about at the moment, and I'm getting very angry. Well, they are closet modelers, but there is a trend that's starting. There's a bit of a trend going out, and I noticed it with my ex-partner, the last partner that I had. And that infuriated me. But in some ways I can understand where they come, but it infuriated. We were classified as sexual deviants and perverts and pedophiles. The only reason we go out to train shows to check kids out.
Yeah, and that's not the case.
That's not the case.
No.
I put her on the first plane I was able to put her on. I put her on and send her back home. There is no way. I mean, okay, we do check out some of the yummy mummies when you're single. I mean, I won't deny that. It's like, hey, kitty, you come over here and watch the trains while I have a talk to your mother. But and that's what I told her. It's not the kids we're checking out. We tell the kids to have a look at the trains while we haven't talked to the mother. She didn't see the funny side of it. So I said,
and that's true too, Dave. Is the fact that a lot of us, and I mean myself included, I mean it's definitely marked as not for kids. And if you notice, every time I put up a video, there's that blurb that comes up that says, "Hey, there may be language that if you're under 13, you shouldn't be hearing." Although I try to make sure I don't do that, I figured, it's better safe than sorry.
But I have to do it.
Yeah.
I have to do. Yeah. You have a look at all my video clips and that, and I usually do it for these two. I didn't do it for this one, but I'll fix that up. I'll rectify that after the show. I have to make my shows 18 plus now. But I always I'll go by the Australian broadcasting rules. Hey, Roy, how are you? I haven't seen you for a while. I was wondering where you got to.
Hey, Roy. The body is definitely older than 13. I don't know about the brain.
I'm older than my shoe size, but I don't want to act. I don't want to be like that. But I go by 15 plus, MA 15 plus warning. And hey, Nancy, how are you? And the thing is, I gotta put that little caption down on the bottom and on my stream because as I keep saying, some of the common words that we use here, a lot of Americans find that offensive. Like we'll use bloody all the time, we'll use damn all the time. and a few other words, bugger and all this. And you got a lot of Americans find that offensive. So I've got to put that down there. So, sorry, people, if you find that offensive, don't watch the show. Go somewhere else. The warning's out.
Yeah.
So, and that's to
Yeah.
cover my backside. If they do try to come back, because I'm broadcasting out of Sydney or out of Australia, I'm following that guidelines. And yes, depending on what goes on in the stream, I don't make it an 18 plus officially until after the conversation. I go, bugger, I'm going to have to change this to 18 plus. That way we cover our backsides. It's not my fault it's not my fault that you let your kids watch it and your grandkids watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that Dave did bring up that Dave brought up something else, and it is kind of tough for us too, because those of us that are over age, here it is to try and bring in the younger generation. It's tough because a lot of them, they've got the thing you can't comment on the videos, and it makes it hard for us to do that. I tell you, the one that still gets me though is Harrison from SMT. Harrison from SMT mainly. I mean, he's got a following and a half, and I realize that some of that came from his days of playing video games, but still, I mean, here it is. He transitioned from the video games to the railroading side, and that whole group just kind of migrated right along with him. You go into his live streams. I went into one of his live streams one night thinking I'm going to be able to go ahead and comment, and I'm just watching the comments just fly, and I'm like, holy cow, dude. It's like,
at least we can
keep up with it.
At least we can somehow look at it. But I mean, they've got a trained eye where you just goes like, well, hang on, there he goes. I'll just pull that one down. That's incredible. But even with him, he is incredible with the way he does his engines and gets the old engines up and going and running. It's just incredible.
Yeah.
But there have been times I've been in his live streams, and it doesn't go that quick, but it's amazing. I like them old school trains. They're pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a channel that I just had put into the description on the last video. Actually, it was the video for the 500 subs. There's another channel. It's classic model trains or classic. Yeah, it's classic model trains. It's an older fella, but
yeah,
I tell you what, he's done some. He just went ahead and rebuilt or tore apart and fixed or tried to fix an old AHM big boy. And that didn't go very well because apparently one of the gearboxes is shot. And of course you can't get parts for those things anymore. But
no,
it was just really interesting to see him tear this thing all the way down and then put it back together. Some of the stuff that I've done, I related to going back to when I was in the service, and we called it field stripping, where you literally broke whatever it was you were working on all the way down and then put it back together. So it was just really, really because that's exactly he does things the same way I do. If I'm going to go in there and I'm going to mess with a locomotive, I'm taking it all the way down, cleaning it out, putting it back together. So,
what's his name? Where is it? He just made a comment. Yeah, Norman, I think it was Norman. Yeah, I prefer small channels too. Yeah, I also prefer a little bit of smaller channels. And there are some big channels, but not many of the big channels that I'd go look at the regular pace. I might look in a few tips and a few ideas on it. But what I mean by you get some of these big British ones that the fame got to their heads, and it's like they change their attitude. It's like my modeling is better than yours because I now got all these people watching my models. I'm better than you. So sorry, I look like some of your tips, but I'll just move on and Hey, what you do
Yeah.
is incredible, and I enjoy watching some of the things that you do. It's old school, and it's good to keep the refresher going. It's like you get someone coming along and say, "Hey, I've got one of these engines, and I want to get it going. I don't know what to do." And watching people like you rebuild, it's like, "Oh, so that's what I've got to do with it again." You know, um,
Yeah. And you're right, Dave. On some of those bigger streets, yeah, you can't get a word in edgewise. That's why I think that this, like the stream that Artie's got going now, the one that you do Thursday morning, not to go ahead and advertise, but sidetrack Sunday. It doesn't matter which one of the five of us is on. I think the most that we've ever had in one stream was maybe 75, except for when we did the holiday show. That was, that was the only difference. That one there, we had quite a few followers in that night, but that's because it was something special, and that's something we're going to keep going every year now. That was just a lot of fun to have all five of us up there. I'm sure that, you know John number two from School Kills like, oh my gosh, we got to do that again.
but it's fun. We can all. I mean, I'd like to be able to um I like some other guys to come in and do this what I'm doing now. Get a group of guys. That is what we do on Sidetrack Sunday. Um,
Yeah.
okay, weekends are a great time, but like today it would have been good. Like I could say, hey Ray, could you just take over the show while I go around and take up some? I'll go and do a live stream somewhere. Like do it like a little. My idea of this Saturday Sunday thing is try to do like you see on the TV channels where you got a host and then you got someone popping in live and just doing it amateurish. You don't have to be professional, right?
No, I'm
In
far from it.
just look at, just put your tie on. You'll be good. Yeah. Because I'm going to for next weekend. I was going to do it for Sunday, but I don't know if anyone's willing to help me out there. Next Sunday, I am going to go on a picnic train ride. You guys probably seen that 59 class, that steam engine, that Mikado. Um, oh, it's Split Lock in. Where did I miss him? If you're in here, Split Rock, I missed you. Sorry, I missed you, buddy. But yeah, g'day, Thomas. It's not coming down this side of the city. It's going between Sydney and a place called Scarborough, which is a junction to go into this single tunnel. And it's about an hour. It's not a 15-minute train ride like it is in Strasbourg. This one's about an hour and a half round trip. So I want to do that, and going up to it and trying to stream. It will be like, remember when Anthony died first helped me out, where the signal kept dropping out. That's what it'd be like. So,
Right.
And then in July, here's a good one. I'm going to try to get the tickets for it this week. They're doing a double header with the 59 class, which is standard gauge. And they're bringing one steam engine up from Melbourne, which is broad gauge, which is 5 foot 2, 5'3" gauge, and they converted that to standard gauge. So it's going to be interesting to see this big engine converted into, and they're going to double head up here. Now, the thing is, the R class, which is from Victoria, is an oil burner. Hey, Lee, how are you? Our 59 class, which is the American Mikado, that's a coal burner, so it's going to be interesting. Now, that one there is going to be a full-day trip. But that's up in a place called Maitland or Newcastle, which is on the other side of Sydney. That's going. I'll do some shots on the way up, but I'm going to do that as a premiere. Because my phone will not. Hey Jerry, glad you can make it. Because it's for me to go up there by train. It's about a 4 or 5 hour trip from here by train. And my phone won't. My phone won't stay away for that long. So yeah,
that's okay. My phone gave me fits when I got back from Strasbourg. I got notifications that my phone was full. I was like, I only recorded one video, but then I realized I still had pictures on there from when the family and I went up to Alaska 3 years ago. I'm like, well, that'll do it. So, needless to say, I went ahead and cleaned all that off. I'm going to take a second here. I know I saw Boxcar Jerry, Niecy J, Nancy's in here. Sorry I didn't say hi when you guys popped in, but yeah, and hi to whoever else. I know Ian from the Lehigh River's here. But yeah, it's I like that. Like I was saying, this thing that I was trying to put together, that I'm going to try to put together for the fall. Obviously, the big thing is the train show, the what we call the GSM.
Hey Jeff, how are you?
Hey Jeff.
Welcome. Here's a new one to my channel. That would be, I'm going to have to have a look now. I think I've gone to 74. I'm catching up to you too, bastard.
You got a ways to go there, buddy.
I know. But I said only to 200, not 500. I said to 200. Okay. I was trying to be a bit more realistic. But it was funny.
You got to set the goals, you know.
But it's funny, like, you and Rick were at 470 something. Jason was at 1970 something. I was at 171. I thought, well, we all got the sevens in there, so we're only about 30 off. Let's make an effort. Everyone's going to win out of it.
Oh yeah,
everyone's going to win out of it. You know.
Yeah, in one way or the other, everybody's going to get something. But you know,
we haven't had a good challenge for a long time, and I reckon this is a brilliant challenge.
It wasn't supposed to be that way.
Where's my $1 billion?
It wasn't supposed to be a challenge, but you know,
but it is now. Look, there's my $1 million. $1 million cash. Here you go, $1 million note. Doesn't mean you can spend it, but y'all got the $1 million cash. Look, I got the cash here.
I bet you that's got springs.
I mean, if you had $1 million cash, look at it. You got the Opera House there, and you got our famous person that stood up for corruption, Ned Kelly, on the other. I mean, would you really want to cash in $1 million? Cash in $1 million note? Come on. Yeah. It's good to see.
Actually, Jerry, I was at 900 or 400. Yeah, 900. Wouldn't that be nice? 400. I was actually at 484 when I mentioned it, and then within a couple of hours, I hit 490. And then over the last 24 hours or so, I've gone up to. I'm sitting straight at, or at least when we started this, I was right at 500. But see, like I said, that's the thing. I mean, Niecy's another prime example. I mean, she does some great. Going back to the build crew, she did some great work on that build, and you know that may be something that's going to be coming up eventually. You know, we'll see what happens. You know, we'll see what goes on there. But like I said,
hang on, I'll be back in a minute. Someone's.
Oh, okay. You know, unfortunately, since the host had to disappear for a minute, I know Jerry and I we had a little bit of a conversation at one point, but yeah, I'm still looking into October 15th, 16th, trying to figure out how this is all going to play. Not sure if we're going to be able to get everything in that I'd like to see us be able to get in, but we'll see what happens. I'm still trying to get to see how many people are actually interested, and go and see what I can pull together, and then so on and so forth. But we'll get there. Like I said, the big thing is definitely the 15th with the GSMTS is doing that train show. I think it's not Amherst by any stretch of the imagination, but I still think it is. I know, at least in the area, is one of the biggest train shows in the Baltimore metro area. So, anywho,
just
but
remember,
the police were at Artie's door. Hey, Creepy and Low Country's here.
Hey, Gary, how are you, buddy? How are you? Yeah, not
that would be exit stage right in Australia. They said you exit stage left, and then Steve came back. No, it's exit stage right. He's in Australia. And they go in the other direction.
Right. That is right.
Oh my goodness!
I just bang, and I'm thinking what's going on, but now that I'm looking where the wind's picking up. We've had police choppers and whatnot flying around here, so someone's been up to no good here this morning, and it's not me this time. It's not me.
Yeah, Ron, it's been that way for the last couple of hours. Where I've been at 5 and Rick's at 4.99, so it's holding again. Yeah, I know, Dave. We're going to have to set something up and see what goes on. Yeah, absolutely. Like I've said before, if you're in the area, shoot me an email or something if you're going to be coming this way, and we'll figure something out. And, unfortunately, after Strasburg, Rodney came down here, and I didn't take any video at all while he was here. But, it was funny. 2 times now I've had folks in to see the railroad. Anthony from Georgia Sunbelt was the first one, and he got down to the bottom of the steps coming here to the basement. He kind of just sat down. I'm like, "Is everything all right, Anthony?" He says, "Yeah, I'm just taking it all in." And Rodney basically although he didn't sit down, he was just like, "Holy cack!" So
that's what I said. That's what I said. Instead of going out to the museum, let's have a cookout at your place for a weekend. We'll all be out in the backyard.
I'm sure that I'm sure that the wife and daughter would love that if I went ahead had a whole bunch of model railroads in the backyard doing a cookout.
Oh, they love it. They love it. Look, we can send them away some if they wish.
Hey, Wesley Pipes, welcome in there, buddy.
Hey, they're more than welcome to come over to my place. We'll do a week of it.
Easy size matters. Oh boy, only here we go.
Only sometimes. Yeah. Hey, Wesley Pipes, how are you, buddy? Hey, why not? I mean, it's one way of helping each other out. I mean,
absolutely.
Of course absolutely. I would. You're not gonna get fed for nothing, Nessie. You're not gonna get fed for nothing. You gotta earn your feed. I mean, even if you just make a couple of trees, That's what's called helping each other out.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I could do. My room be a bit cramped here to get, wife swapping. Well, you can have my wife, Norman. No problem. Only one problem. You got to find her first. I don't have one.
Trees, where's Rick? Hey, CDP 1965.
I think he's still canvassing his twigs around the yard to try to get his something back up above $4.99. Hey, Chuck. And but I mean that would be good. I mean, I'd like to see 10, 20 guys try to get in this small room to help me with my layout. It would just be too crowded. But I think 3 will be the maximum to get in here. But I mean, when you got a layout like yours, a space like yours, we might as well do it. And yeah, why may help one each other out. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have liked to see more than 3 or 4 people get into the basement that I used to be in. Would have been a little bit tight.
Well, I remember when the old guys, some of the old guys were around. You got 2 wives, Norman. One's bad enough. Even just to have a wannabe wife is a handful nowadays. I am not saying you're big. I'm not saying you're big. We just got. I've got the big stomach bones too. I mean, don't forget, I'm in the same line of work as you are.
Layout party at Ray's. Oh, brother.
It's,
Jeff, not at the.
as funny as and as stupid as it sounds, we did have some older guys here that passed away now, and they had weekends, alternate weekends every month at their places, and some of the other modelers, and they get together and build the layout and help finish the layout, and it was all fun. It was all a lot of fun. I'll tell you what, it's fun, especially on a long weekend.
Yeah. No, I know that.
That's I was wondering what was going on with you. Sorry, Ray. I was
No,
wondering
you're
what's
good.
going on with you because I haven't seen you on for a few weeks.
Yeah. That I know Jeff was just asking me if I was running trains, and not at the moment. I'm getting ready to. I've got something that I'm going to fix. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag, per se. I was actually thinking of something the other week, and that's the fact that the walk around throttles that I have, there's no type of circuit protection. So if there's a short circuit, it's just going to backfeed and possibly blow or burn out the handheld throttles, or worse, the power supplies, which are a heck of a lot more expensive. I got lucky. Those power supplies that I've got, they're running close to. I think when I looked the other day, I think they were running close to $200 a piece. So I don't want to mess those up because I can't get a hold of them anymore. But well, I could get a hold of them, but the budget may not be there. Yeah, exactly, Nisa. You always need protection.
Yeah.
Whiz. Oh boy.
Yeah. We don't want us to multiply too much. Norman Rowe, I know I shouldn't be using that as in the same sentence, but these guys lived to a ripe old age of, one was 92 and another one was 96. And basically they were modelling right up to the last week or two of their lives, which is pretty good going.
Oh, yeah.
And the things that they done and the creations that they done, it was just amazing. Like they were making Australian outline cars out of cardboard because you couldn't buy them, and this was an O gauge NHO. They were making them out of cardboard, and they still exist. And like your wheel frames underneath and that, they were all cast out of like epoxy. It was something like epoxy and white metal and stuff, and it was none of these fancy tools that we had today. That was pure craftsmanship.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I took notice on some of them. And yeah, some of them got me to the point where I'm nearly as bad as who is it that we were watching? Jim Tedesco down south, where they put all the detail inside the buildings and the railway carriages. This is one of the first ones that I did when I met him, and I need to fix it up a little bit. But this is one of our old carriages. But this is how far they got me to do fine detailing. See the bathroom, the toilets in there. Yeah,
Nice.
they're handcuffed. They're handcuffed to the right size, including the sink, the basin.
Night,
And
Nisi.
that's a long time ago since I did that. Night, Nisi.
Yeah,
Am
I
I
mean,
running
it's like
trains tonight? Yeah, they are. Hang on, let me change my screen. So,
no, you're good.
now I did have all the cameras. There we go. This one will work. There, you can watch some trains as you see my ugly face. How's that look? Yeah. Yeah, they're running on the train automation. But I have one of the other carriages that are in the box where I've actually got a couple, one with one having their head out the window while there's two and use your imagination. There's two in the bathroom with an open window.
Right.
So you just use your imagination. But everything that they've done, like their stations and models, a lot of their stuff are all yeah, there was miniature poop. Unfortunately, didn't stay in the toilet itself, Norman. It used to actually fall down on the rails. Had a tube and pipe that goes right down on the rails. So thank God they don't do that anymore. Oh, yeah, thank God. Mine's bigger than Jerry's. It just looks big. It's an illusion. I enjoyed it. I mean, if I didn't watch and see what they did, and I think out of our club members, I think out of the 30, 40, I think there's only about 4 or 5 of us that have carried it on,
Right.
And I'm glad we are carrying it on because it's going to be one of those. Okay, we've got 3D printers now. The 3D printers do it all, but things like that, there was no 3D printers. You had to hand carve it.
Yeah.
Thank God for styrene, but we had to
scratch building is definitely an art form, and it's definitely something that I to me for me the progression has been build kits and then do a kit bash, which I haven't done yet, and then move on to actually doing a scratch build. I haven't done a kit bash yet. I thought I was going to with Union Station, but I'm not going to have to do that. So, that's the thing. I definitely want to. I definitely want to tackle a kit bash, and then I definitely want to try and scratch build something. And of course, I've always heard if you're going to do a scratch build, start with something small and something that you definitely want to hold on to, and then move on to something much larger. Obviously, I've got probably at least 3 or 4 different things I know I'm going to have to either kit bash or scratch build at some point, and I'm just not there yet. I'll get there eventually.
You see, let me show you. See this building here. This building here, that's scratch build.
Because Norman had to carve all of his trains out of wood. Don't tell Rick.
But that little building itself, I had to scratch build that. Mainly because I could not find the right size to fit on that platform and have the trains go past it. So I had to scratch build it. Is it to the correct measurements where the door heights are? And I went in and measured it to more for the I value. You get a couple. It's only like a little out Hicktown station. It only was like a little waiting room, a ticket booth, and that's it. Now, when I start doing my next level, because I'm doing a city soon up there, like a main central station, I looked at your Union Station kit and a few other kits of the station, but now that I'm doing a multi-level passenger yard, and I don't think I still have not found a prototype of such a thing, but I'm going to be like, you're going to have the top level and the bottom level could be like underground, very similar to Sydney, but you're going to see the underground this time around.
Yeah, that's one of the things, and I realized after I went ahead and built the second level, which is the city. I realized that in reality, I should have. I originally thought about having where Union Station sits, having that be to where it was going to be wide open, so that you could see the platforms underneath.
Yeah.
The issue with that is the length of that area to do that and still be able to have the interurban running up top wasn't going to be feasible. So the whole thing's closed. But if you get down on it, if you kind of crouch down a little bit, you'll be able to see underneath the station and onto the four platforms that'll actually be down there. And that's one of the things that I've talked about with this station is it's actually, when I get to it, or when it gets to that point, it'll actually have staircases and elevators that will go from the station through that deck and down to the platforms underneath. That's going to be the trick, is actually getting all that done. That's down the line in the future. I just want to get as much of the scenery stuff done as I can before I actually get to that point, because I'm getting tired of looking at the white. the snow scene just isn't happening.
Yeah, well, you get it for about 4 months of the year at your basement window, the door, and then you come back inside during summertime. You still see that white stuff around the place.
Exactly.
It's like Gary creepy this last week, earlier in the week. That side, he's been sending the white stuff over from his side of the hill over to here. Well, we've had a good dumping of snow down south, but that's another subject. But you still, when you look, because really, when you look at your layout, you're actually looking down into it. So if you don't see so much underneath, it won't really matter, because you're really looking down like this. And it'd be like, say, for example, me going into New York. I might go in there again. I don't know. I'm just going to have to find a better place. I'm trying to find the photos of the place that I stayed in New York. I tell you what, the chicken coop was actually better. I noticed the building's been knocked down. But that's all the later thing. But when I went to catch the train from New York to Boston on the Acela, I was like, oh, that's a station. You don't see the railway lines. They're all underneath that.
Yeah, they're all underneath. It's the same way in Baltimore. You see the station, and the railroad is all below it.
Yeah. Now you go into Sydney, which I will take some shots eventually. I was meant to go there on Friday night, but there was a guy that fell between the passenger trains in Sydney. So there was no way I'm catching the train up there. He survived, thankfully. He fell in between the two carriages and got a little bit scratched up. He was able to walk away, so that's a good thing. But we've got a station called Town Hall, which is just up the central, but it's almost in the heart of the city. And that station there has got 1, 2, 3 levels underground where the trains were existing. But it's dug out. There's actually 4. They can actually do 4 levels of train tunneling, up to 4 levels of trains underneath it. There's that many tunnels in there. But at the moment, you've got 3 layers, and they're double tracked each. So it's quite deep, and you don't see it. All you see up the top is like a church, a town hall building. That's all you see up the surface. I was thinking about doing something like that over my right shoulder here, but I don't think I'm going to have the space. Most of mine are going to be passenger trains and anything. Yeah.
No, Jeff had a question, and it's one of those catch-22s here. He's got a new HO steam locomotive that has a smoke unit. And can it be run without the fluid, or does it need it? That depends. If it's a DCC one, I think you can actually shut off the power to the smoke unit, and if you can, great. If it's a DC one, that element is basically, as soon as you apply power, that element's going to get hot, and it's not good to run those without some sort of fluid in them.
Yeah.
They will burn out.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to keep the oil in it. It's like the old jugs. Like if you've got no water in, it'll burn the element out of it.
Yep.
And it just weakens like the old Barton smoke units. They got a little fine wire in it. They used to burn out, and they stopped working.
Yep.
A lot of, I think the Sooth ones you could get away with for a little while, but if you're not going to use it, DCC you can disconnect it. That's why you're not to run it because it burns them out. With the old ones, yeah, just look, if you can't afford the expensive smoke fluids that you get from the hobby shop, one of the things that we used to use over here out of everything is go to your wife's sewing box and get a sewing machine oil. It does the same thing. It's almost the same oil. That's what we used to use, and that was in the old DC. We put the old sewing machine oil because it's very fine oil, and that would just burn away. Hey, James, how are you? Yeah.
Hey, James. The one thing I will say, no matter which ones you have, whether it's a DC or a DCC one of the things that everybody will tell you, and I'm not sure if Artie has had this or not, but that smoke fluid will leave a film after a while if you run them a lot. It will go ahead and create. It does create a little bit of a mess, and if you're not careful, even with it leaking, it'll cause a problem. Jeff, the only way that you're really going to be able to tell is to take the shell off of the locomotive and get to that to get that smoke unit and see how easy it's going to be to disconnect the wiring to it. I mean, to me, I like this. I've got these steam locomotives. I've only got one that actually has a smoke unit in it. And unfortunately, I've never had any luck with the smoke units. I wish I did, but every one that I've ever had, it just stopped working on me. So, it sucks. I know the folks in the chat have been talking about the 3D printers. I've actually got one that's a filament, but I haven't figured out how to turn the thing on. It actually came from a buddy of mine that unfortunately passed away last month. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that mini refrigerator now, because that's what it looks like.
It will make
the 3D printer that I've got. What's that?
It'll make a good bar fridge. Okay, I'm going to show you the smoke out of the older Barkman units. I don't know what they're like in the new ones. So let me just change my screen. Now, this is out of this smoke unit's out of the spec I need to get a better computer with a couple of screens.
Night, Dwayne.
Not, yeah. What did I miss? What did I miss? Dwayne's, yeah. Okay, Dwayne's good night, mate. Take care. Now this is a smoke unit out of the Barton Spectrum steam engine. Right now, you can see where the element is burnt out.
Yep.
That's where the element's burnt out. And you see the film over the top. Come on, focus. You can see how you see the different colours, and that's from the oil out of it that does leave the residue in it. And you only want you don't want more than 3-4 drops. And what you want to do is you want to let it burn itself almost to, you want to have it burn out as much as you possibly can before you top it out. If you fill them up too much, then they'll leak everywhere. It makes the track very, very slippery, and the engine gets realistically weathered. The only time I'll use the smoke units now, because I've got some engines here that do smoking, I'm not putting any oil in it until they're going to remain on the layout permanently, because as soon as you turn them on the side, that will actually leak out. Now, I don't have the spare one here. The smoke units that I got inside, the BLI ones, they're a little bit bigger. They're around about, they got like a little, I'm trying to get my fingers right. They got a little fan, and it sticks out about this much. The hole up the top is smaller, and then they got that sort of, that foamy material, like what they use in, what the florists use. And what it does is you put when you initially do it, you take 3-4 drops of it, and then what that foam does is takes the oil in it. So there's always going to be some sort of oiling in it. So you need to keep it up. Otherwise, if you don't, that little foam will dry out too much, and it will just burn on you. Now, to pour this out of a Barton one, of course, you've got to take the shell off. Now, on the Barton ones, you got screws that hold. It's a 2-piece chassis, and what you got to do is you got to loosen the screws up just enough, and that will slide out. Maybe you might be lucky enough to be able to pull it straight out. That's experience.
Hey, Joe. No, he beat me, but then he lost them, so I'm back ahead.
Only just.
Yeah, only just.
Only just. Yeah, and I don't think I've moved. I don't think I've progressed. I mean, here I'm trying to promote myself, and all I've done was promote you two, but the two sides. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. I mean, it's just all fun and games. Jesus.
Oh yeah. This whole thing. I mean, Rick and I were talking earlier that no matter what happens, this has been a wild 24 hours, or 48 hours, whatever it's going to end up being. I mean, it has been. Hey, guess what? We're tied again at 500. We're both at 500 as of right now. We're both at 500.
Neck at neck. So now it's going to be the dilemma. Now who's going to? So it's going to be a draw then, isn't it?
Now it's going to be who can hold the 500. Now it's going to be who can hold them.
Jeez, I'm screwed, aren't I? I'm screwed. I mean,
Hey Jeff, the
It's going to
locomotive
be.
will still run if it's burned out, but to be perfectly honest, if I still had steam engines with smoke units in them, if I was going to run them, I would probably disconnect that smoke unit just because of the fact. And what I was talking about, leaving a film, as that oil burns off and becomes the smoke, that will fall and it will leave a residue on everything.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the more of them that you run, the worse, the worse it's going to get. But yeah, like I said, it's just.
Hey,
I mean,
Jason.
the smoke, and I know that there are some really good smoke. Sleuth makes a great smoke unit.
Those ones you
But
those ones you can let go dry. The sleuth
yeah,
ones you can let go. You can leave them go dry. But all these other ones,
hey
no, you
Jason,
can't. Now
right?
with the BLI ones, they actually got a switch in them inside the smoke box. If you take the front cap off, there's actually a little switch in there that can actually turn the smoke unit off. And that way, if you turn that off, you can run it all day long without worrying about burning out. I'm not going to dig them out because they're in the cupboard, buried, and I've got shit in the way at the moment. I haven't got a basement the size
Norman,
of.
it's a week. Yeah,
Are we going to do it
it's
a
a
week, or
week
should
for
we
the
do it?
for.
Are we going to leave it for a week, or should we leave it for a fortnight, for 2 weeks?
No, it's we had actually decided on that, but when we got started, it was going to be a week.
All right.
Yeah, so
Okay.
whenever we hit the 500 mark, we have to hold that for a week. So if this time next week we're still at 500 or plus, we're good.
So what happens when you guys both fall back down to 499, 498?
Well, then
You're
the clock starts all over again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if we drop below 500, it's the clock stops and we got to start all over. So yeah.
The only thing that benefited me out of all this, my view rate's gone up.
There's always a plus side, right?
Well, there is a plus side to everything, yeah. Yeah, and I'm going 1, 2. Yeah. And I've got one, and I'm actually quite surprised. So I even got one of Rick Sapling's joining on my side of it too. So, but one of his branches, I say, signed up. So it's good. So I have managed to get up and they maintain there, but yeah, I can't see me getting.
Hey, you're up to 174 now.
Yeah, I'm up to 174. Yeah, and I've been like that now. 23 hours now. 23, 22 hours. So yeah, no, it's
hey, Jeff, you can always hit me up on email, man. We can always pull something if I've got the time. On this weekend, in fact, I'm probably going to have to cut it here. I'm probably going to have to skip out on you here in a bit. Already, I got to get up early tomorrow morning. My nephew's graduating from high school, so we got to get up we got to get up somewhat early because his graduation's at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that poor bastard's got to go out and work now.
Actually, he's going to go to college. He's actually, in fact, he's going to college right down the road, the same college my daughter went to. So,
oh, cool.
Already Ray took some of your subs.
Yeah, I think between Ray and Rick, it was Rick that got up to 500 first over the 500. So I reckon he's stolen some. And I did tell him he's stolen some. I told him he was 30. Hey, Kurt, how are you, buddy? How are you, champ?
Yeah, actually, Joe, the Loyola Dons, they actually had a service tonight down at the cathedral, and then tomorrow is the actual graduation at the high school. So it's going to be an interesting day.
Yeah. Well, at least you're able to get out, which is a good thing.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. I'm glad that my daughter graduated before, or actually, she graduated after this whole thing. This whole thing started, but at least it was last year. Things were somewhat cool, and now for his sake, I'm glad he's able to cross the stage and so on and so forth. So,
Gary,
it's
yeah,
good.
we know you can't afford it, mate. That's why you moved further out in the hickland in the bush. Gary, you think we can't afford to buy the bull subs? But,
So
it's been great. It was great having you on the show, Ray. You're always welcome to come along. You know that.
I appreciate you having me. I wish. Unfortunately, normally Saturday nights is when I'm trying to get. Here it is. We talk about getting into each other's live streams and so on and so forth, or at least being in a chat. And it's like when since I'm trying to get something done back there. With everything that's going on right now, it's like, yeah, I just need a day to where I can just sit back and work on this crazy thing. And
well, you
the
know
funny
what
thing
they
of it
say.
is
You know what they say, Ray? Payback's a bastard. Look at how much you guys over there have held me up. I mean, the real reason one of the other reasons I haven't progressed is because all your live streams on a Monday and a Tuesday and a Wednesday. Here, my time. And I don't get to the hardware store to get the bits and pieces that I want. And that's why my layout hasn't progressed. None of you bastards come over here and give me a helping hand. You just hold me up. No, it's all right. It's all good. It's all good.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's all cool.
Absolutely.
Just lucky I wasn't there in person in Strasbourg.
I tell you what, we had an absolute. That's the second meet and greet that I've been a part of, and both of them were an absolute blast. It's been said before, and here it is. We get in these chats, we get on these live streams, we talk to folks. We think, you pretty much know who they are before you get to meet them in person. And when you're in person, it's even funnier. I mean, we just had an absolute blast up there. We had an absolute blast.
The funniest thing of the whole thing was I'm here in Australia watching you guys on the virtual cam. And we're all telling you guys you're standing in the wrong spot. We cannot see you guys. You had to walk down another 40 foot further down.
You couldn't find me? No.
We could hear you guys. And the thing that gave it away the most, we know that you guys were at the camera, was you and Sparky laughing right below the camera. And we were like, go further down. Like, there was another carriage there in the siding there, beside where you stood. If you guys just went to the end of that carriage, we would have seen you guys. Because I never tilted the camera down. It's like, we can hear all you guys laughing and carrying on below the camera. So, but anyway, there's always going to be another time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I know that there's a couple of things possibly going to be going on for next year, too. So, who knows? It's the way I look at it is if I can pull this thing off for later this year, sorry, if I can pull something together for later this year, it'll be great. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to, in your words, I'm going to have to bugger off.
Yeah, me too. I do. It was great seeing all you guys. Let me put my ugly face back up on here again. At least this one you can see my lips move, not like the one over in Strasbourg. I bet you guys said, "Oh, thank God this Hardy can't speak." Peace and quiet. But still, thank you again, Ray, for joining.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Welcome to come along. I think the true the man is still planting some seedlings somewhere because he didn't turn up again. Thank you to all the viewers for supporting all of us, actually, and support one another. I mean, we are a crazy bunch of people in here, and support each other and watch each other's backs as well with the
Yeah.
challenging times we've got. But next Saturday night, your time, I should be on. I don't know whether I'm going to be in my room or whether I'm going to be on location, depending on what time I get the train tickets. If I can only get the train ticket when I'm on my live show, then I'm going to have to get someone to give me a helping hand with it. So,
All
and
right.
the other partner in crime has quit on me. I mean, he wouldn't even go and give Elizabeth a kiss and a cuddle, hello, and a happy birthday for me. You know who we're talking about. And he's not
Yep.
even defending himself, which is better. So I'm going to have to fix him up. I'm going to have to, while he's away, I'm going to have to go and get my rail jet back from him. Hey, Grandpa Rose, but here's Jason. Just when I'm signing up. Signing out.
Oh, brother, now there's trouble.
We were just heading out, Jason.
What is this, Sidetrack Saturday?
Hey, it's Sunday here.
Well, that's true. We all know that there's tomorrow because Artie's already living in the future.
Yeah. And at the moment, from tomorrow, your tomorrow, actually, it's Ray that's actually in the lead by one. Yeah. Anyway, Jason, sorry, we were about to head off. This bugger down here is going to head off. He needs to get his beauty sleep. We won't see.
It doesn't help.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy down there. Yeah.
You can't see me.
Well, I missed everything you said when I first joined because obviously I didn't have the right speaker set up, so I was trying to lip read, and that don't work too well on computer.
No.
But I just got home, just in time for you to get off.
Oh, you can take over now. You can take over. I'll just shut it down. You can take over.
There you go.
No, I don't.
Hey,
no.
this is one way we can do it. This is how we can do a 24-hour live stream.
So I didn't hear a clarification. So Rick did get 500 first, but he did drop below.
Yep.
And then Ray got 500 just right before Rick got 500.
Yep.
Meaning that come next week, Ray, if neither drop below 500, it's not a tie.
Nope.
Ray will win. Now, if either one of them drop below 500, I still have a chance to hit 1,200 before the both of you hit 500.
Oh boy.
I'm still screwed. I still can't see myself getting the 200 by the end of the week. I'm still screwed.
Oh man. Rick hit 500, drop below. I'm at 500 on the nose, so I won't be comfortable until I get up to 505 or 510.
Yeah, that's. Well, I was going to tell you what you should have done was say first one that hits 525 or holds 500 for a week. If you get 525, you're not going to drop below.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, that stupid freaking algorithm, but whatever. We'll figure it out.
Nancy says you guys are tied at 500 again, so.
Yeah, I just looked and it had Rick back at 499 again, so I have no idea.
Hey, I'll tell you what's sad. So I was giving away this guy when I hit 1,000, and someone did not claim their prize.
What?
I think this is like one of the coolest locomotives ever. And the winner did not claim it.
Mm.
So I still got to find time to give that away.
Mm.
Yeah. Now I'm going to go the same way as I'm going to go the same way as I'm going to go the same way as what's Creek up to now? What's my name?
Hey, Ray,
He just said, Ray, can I have your extras? You won't need them.
We're what do you call it? At the end of the day, what do you call it? Yeah, we all having fun doing it.
Hey, Jason, Joe's saying that Little Freak gets a new engine.
Yeah, I know, right? Hey, here, let me hold it up. There you go. In scale, SD60. Oh, that's blurry. Yeah. There we go. So yeah, this is definitely in scale because this is
it does look bigger than ours. Yeah.
And no one's getting this one.
Oh man!
Oh, come on! I need another one. Well, I'm just going to go the same way as what Ray's going, and that's either with a gift card or whatnot, and that way people can get what they want in their own games, because just makes it easy. It's like when it comes to birthday and Christmas time, I mean,
I think Ron's got me confused with Heath.
Yeah. Jason, no fair unsubscribing from Ray and subscribing to Rick.
Hey, Heath was the one that mentioned about unscribing from the both of you.
I
wouldn't be surprised if he did.
That's what I said.
It's probably him.
Exactly what I said.
It's probably him in the background going on,
off.
Yeah. Maybe Heath and his 20 channels is what boosted Rick over 500, and then he dropped a few down.
Oh man!
Isn't that what I was saying earlier in the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna see. Did he?
They're the cats had the bag.
I'm curious if that was my video that Heath commented on. Yes, he did. It was on my video, and both Artie and James Galton replied to it. And then I replied to it, and I said, that wouldn't surprise me.
Oh.
It's gotta be good. It's gotta be good. But,
oh, Joe. Crap, never mind. It's out on the layout. I wanted to show you this Genesee and Wyoming boxcar I've got, but it's on the layout. So I'll send you a picture of it later.
Let me have a look. No, it's not here.
It's like the original, like the old school Genesee and Wyoming.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All right, gents.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to have to split.
I don't even know if the other camera would pull it up or not. I don't know if it's perfect.
I suppose they're going to hang on for another. I suppose they're going to hang out for another 10 minutes, but I'm going to have to go because the worms are actually biting at the moment. I missed breakfast this morning because of that movie I was watching under the eyelids, and the alarm slipped in.
So, yep.
I could tell you exactly where that car's at. I don't think we're going to be able to. We might be able to see it. No, I don't think we're going to be able to see it.
She's going to blow. She's going to blow.
Yep, and I think my GoPro just shut off. I will.
It's
actually behind the building, so you can't see it. So
that yellow thing there.
No, it's not that Pacific Fruit Express one. It's back there though.
Oh.
I know it's back
okay.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not on this train here in front of me, so that means I already ran it out.
So who do we have on sidetrack? Who do we have on sidetrack Sunday this week? It's John, isn't it?
Be John.
John. Yep. All right, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and
All
get.
right. Again, thank you for
Have a
joining
good one.
Ray, and we'll talk to you again soon, eh?
Yep, sounds good. Thank you, Artie. I appreciate it, buddy.
It's okay, mate. I'll go and get the ton of boring machine ready underneath the bank. Looks like I'm going to have to withdraw some money out of it soon.
There, if anybody gets hungry, they can look at that donut.
Oh, now you made the worms bite even harder.
Later, Ray.
Right, bud. Yeah, and then the worms are kicking in. That looks, when you look at it from the distance, it looks almost real. It does.
So my friend John actually worked on that kit, and I told him, I said, I do not want a chocolate donut. I said, I want strawberry with sprinkles, and we named it after Homer Simpson.
Oh, cool.
So
does it light up? Does it light up?
Yes.
Oh, that's even better.
Oh, well, the donut itself doesn't light up. No, he actually detailed the inside. So he added racks of donuts. You can actually see the rack. It kind of, okay, so if you look at the front, there's that pole just to the left of the window. Look between the window and that pole, and that's where the rack of donuts are located.
A lot of crispy donuts. Oh, yeah, I see it, yeah.
So I can't zoom in any further. But yeah, he actually detailed the inside. It's just missing people. So yeah, like I said, if anyone's hungry, there's a donut.
I am hungry. I missed breakfast. No, kid you not. I missed breakfast this morning. I mean, I didn't wake up till about 35 minutes before the stream. The alarm clock stepped in.
Ooh,
Jeff, I'm not British. I'm an Australian. I drink coffee. I don't drink tea.
Well, hot tea, that is. That's what the Brits that drink hot tea. I can't drink no hot tea.
I'll drink it once. I'll drink it once in a while, but it goes through me like nothing on earth. And then I'm running around. I'm running to the butt.
But heck no.
But your iced tea over there, especially the ones from McDonald's.
Yeah, I will definitely drink some sweet. But see, it's got to be sweet iced tea. I don't like unsweet either. My tea has got to be so sweet that it crunches.
Yeah. I remember I was there. Yeah, let me get the big screen.
Oh, is it going to focus?
That's going to look good once you get the scenery thrown on it.
Oh, yeah. So I just got sound and put in him the other day.
Yeah.
Here, I'll show you some of the stuff I've done with it. I got my throttle right here.
When was it? 2017 when I was 2016 or 17 when I was in the US. And
all right,
I was up in Chicago. Yeah.
All right, so we got headlight, right?
Yeah.
That's the cab interior light, which is not real bright because I got the layout lights on.
Yeah.
And truck lights, which are not bright either. But if I turn the deck lighting off, see how that looks. There you go. Oh, and it went out of focus. Of course, the headlight would do that. But I guess that camera is not going to be good for night ops. Probably not that close anyways.
Not zoomed in like that, no. But
yeah, those
cameras that you got there is expensive as all hell. Yeah.
Yeah, it's $700 for one, and I've got two.
That's like nearly $1,000 each here.
Yeah. But it moves good at a slow speed. The only thing is I can't control the turnouts. So.
Oh, come on, buddy. Come on.
Well,
Put
I'm
your
not there
finger out.
yet.
What have you been doing?
I'm not there.
Oh, okay.
I still got to get enough tortoises.
I don't have them all. I only need about another 12 or so, 14 tortoise motors.
Joe, neither. It is not a S2 and it is not a S4. It's not an Alco.
No,
It's a
it's
different manufacturer.
Mm.
But man, that prime mover sounds so ratty.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's about to fall apart. But no, I'm gonna put a small little diesel shed right here, so you're actually getting a sneak peek because I haven't done this on a layout update yet.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to use my what they call that kit, the machine shop. I'm going to use the machine shop because I'm going to have a passenger trunk facility up on the top deck. I'm going to use that as a carriage diesel facility up near the station, something similar to what they used to have up in Sydney.
Yeah.
Because they used to have diesel shops and carriage sheds nearby.
So what I was thinking about doing was making like not like a full like enclosed shed, but like a canopy.
Yeah.
But the post, instead of the post being wood, I was going to make it out of rail. Because some of the railroads would actually use scrapped rail to build some of their structures.
Yeah. They did here too.
I was thinking like that, you know.
They did here too, like in the outback here. Like when you're going out in the regional centres, they did the same thing here too. Within my area, they didn't because, the steelworks nearby, and they were just get all the scrap out of the steelworks.
Yeah,
and used what they could get. But that building.
No, I've got a lot of work to do on this side. And then I'm also working on a building. You can see the
foundation.
Yeah, well, it's actually two pieces. It's actually going to be 2 tracks.
Yeah.
That's going to be my brewery, and you see where I had to kind of. It's going to be a kit bash.
Yeah.
So, a kit bash to an extent, and depending on where that brewery goes and how big it's going to be is going to depend on, and I've got to fix that. Where this is going, which is past more gas.
Yeah.
And then that depends on how long my track is going to be because it's like way long.
Those tanks come up pretty good.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like I can't even move the camera down anymore.
Yeah, you just want to bring it down a little bit more, but I mean, yeah.
Well, I just want to kind of keep the switching short. And so what I'm going to do in this area, and I've already played with JMRI and I got it figured out.
Yeah.
Jeff, the railroad enthusiast, no, it is not an RS2.
No, it's not.
RS2 would have been much bigger. Here's a RS3 sitting off to the left of the tracks. That's a RS3.
Yeah.
So now I got them both in camera shot so you can see how much bigger that RS3 is compared to the other locomotive. I'm curious to see if anyone can guess what that switcher locomotive is. I'll put the headlight back on for you.
I know. Seaboard had some of them. I know that much.
Yes, and
Um,
there's a guy who models the Seaboard actually uses one as well.
yeah. I
And
nearly bought.
so I'll tell you a funny story with this locomotive. Nope, not a SW2. It's not EMD. It's not Alco.
No,
Um,
no, it's not.
the original paint scheme when the Cotton Belt got these in were in ACL colors, purple and aluminum. And the Cotton Belt had to repaint them.
Right. The Seaboard one was black and red. If I remember rightly.
Creepy. No, it is not a Fairbanks Morse, but that's a pretty good guess. But
Close to a Fairbank Morris.
it's close, but it's not.
I can't think of the name of the. It's a Baldwin.
It's a Baldwin.
Yeah, it's a Baldwin, but I just can't think of the name of it.
Reed got it. Good job, Reed. Reed.
Voodoo. Yeah, that's the one.
It's a VO 1000, VO 1000.
Yeah, Kurt got it too. Not bad for an Aussie.
Yep.
Yeah.
So VO stands for the top of prime mover that's in there, and then the 1000, it was a 1000 horsepower.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's pretty cool when you do your research and you figure out, like, when these, manufacturers, EMD, Alco, Baldwin, when they came up with the models, they just didn't come up with like weird letters and numbers. They actually had a reason as to why they were what they were.
Yeah.
And then of course, like EMD, they changed it up after a while. So the only one I have yet to figure out is why EMD called their first switchers NW. I don't know what the NW stands for.
Not worth it?
Probably. And I've got one too that's going to get repainted.
Yeah.
Repainted and a sound install, but it's going to be a pain in the butt to do.
Yeah.
And it's because it's a Kato, and it's when Kato, it was their first HO scale model they ever made, and they made it just like the N scale locomotives.
Yeah.
So it's got a split chassis.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So
I noticed that with the P42 that I've got here, that's a split that's a split chassis inside, but geez, it's got good traction in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got it and it's heavy. It's nice and heavy. And yeah, I actually had it out the other day. Behind the Amtrak Viewliners and new Viewliner coaches that I got. And then I try to get a speed profile on it, and it's the first Tsunami 2 engine that I've Tsunami 2 Dakota that I've actually done a speed profiling on it. It's not too bad, but it just I've got to tweak and play with it a bit more. Oh, look, there's my tortoise motors.
Yep. And I got the tortoise tabs on them too. So now I got to find my 10-pin ribbon cable. I've misplaced it. I don't know where I put it, but I've got a spool of ribbon cable that's used to. Hold on a second. Hi, Aaron. You home, bud? Come here, dude.
Hey, big boy.
Yeah, unfortunately, my GoPro died, so I can't show. Well, I can show Aaron. Go over there. Here, I'll let him wave to you. There you go.
Hey, Aaron, how are you, buddy?
He wants to know how you're doing. Already doesn't realize I have an earpiece in. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Doing good? Okay.
Fantastic.
You can go watch TV?
Yeah, I'm a little tired.
Okay, go watch some TV, dude.
He's been out.
Hey, and everyone says hi. All right, he's out.
Yeah.
Tell him I said hi to him. And
Okay.
I just came back from a hotel.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways.
Yeah.
But no, I've got some tortoises ready. Like I said, I just got to find my ribbon cables. So that way I can go ahead and start getting all that situated.
Yeah, I'm just going to stick to what I've got here at the moment, the system that I've got in. It's worked out well underneath my layout. I know it's a bit of work, but it just worked out really good. Plug and play. I'll just make my own plug and play system. Because once I get all this stuff that you guys got for the tortoise mares from the United States and that, it's just going to blow my budget way out. And
so I still have some tortoises that are connected with the Switch 8. Like this one right here.
Yeah.
See? It's going to be right to the left. I'm going to line it straight again.
Yeah.
So I still have, a few of those, but it's mainly those that are coming out of staging and not the one on the right, but the two on the main line going back to the signal.
Yeah.
And see, I've even got the signal working too. Check this out. I'll have to put the train in reverse because it's in. Hopefully it don't derail. That would suck.
Yeah.
But I'll show it going through all the aspects. The only problem is I don't have a caboose on this train that's got
a resistor on it.
Oh no, I think I did change it out. Oops. Let's go this way. Come on. There it goes.
It's camera shy.
No, yeah. It'll take a minute, but you'll see that top light change red.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm pushing the train, so I can't, go 50, speed step 50.
Yeah.
Otherwise, then, yeah. Now, see, it just changed red.
Yeah.
I'm going to try bumping it up to 15 and see what happens.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be changing out my signal decoder. I've got that NCU light and I'm changing them out. I've got some I've got 6 of the Atlas signal modules, the new signal modules they got out now.
Yeah.
I've got 6 of them coming from the US at the moment. Because I just cannot get. Okay, I've got it working somehow on the JMRI program, but
now you see it turn green.
Yeah, and that's working off the JMRI, or is that working off itself?
JMRI.
Yeah,
and that's because I'm using CTC on it.
Yeah.
So, like for example. I'm going to stop my locomotive, so because I've got my panel pulled up. So, like if I go and throw that switch, it shows fine.
Yeah.
But see, now it shows red, and that's because the track that I've got it lined up to is occupied.
Yeah.
That one's clear. That one's clear. Like right now, all the other tracks are clear except for track 1. But yep, I'm in reverse.
Now, question for you. Now, with the address on that signal that you got for that signal head, would that be this? Are you using the same address on your JMRI?
Yeah. So it's actually not the address of the head; it's the address of the mast.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Now the LCC has the heads. program. So JMRI will tell the mast, hey, you need to be this way. And then JMRI will tell our circuits or LCC, hey, I need you to put this mast with, this color configuration.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Because you see, when I done my lighted program, and I'm also finding with the train controller program too now, to get the signals to work in automation, it's not recognizing its address.
Right.
Right. Say if I've got one of the signals addressed to 100 or 101, it's not recognizing it as 101. It's recognizing it as something totally different number.
Well, here, let me do this.
Because if I won't dig mine up because I've got my trains running at the moment. But
okay, can y'all see the screen?
And let me.
So I have to keep StreamYard pulled down so that way it doesn't go all cattywampus. So if anyone asks a question, I won't be able to see it. All right.
Yeah.
So this is so far the panel that I've built. Okay.
Yeah.
So from the double crossover on one side of Wiener, right now the turnouts are addressed as virtual turnouts.
Yeah.
So let me pull that up. I got to pull this one up first. I got to get my tables. Okay, now I can minimize that. Now we can look. Okay, so here's the turnout. So like I said, they're all virtual.
Yeah.
However, signal heads, you see there's no signal heads, but I do have the signal mast.
Yeah.
And it's based off of the LCC that it's reading.
Yeah.
And so, and of course, the logic, I kind of played with that a little bit. I think I got it figured out for the most part. And it's basically, the logic of a signal is this signal is looking at three things. It's looking at that turnout.
Yeah.
It's looking at the block beyond the turnout, or the top head looks at the turnout and looks at this block. The bottom head is looking at that block. But it looks at the turnout first.
Okay, good on John too.
Do what?
Hey, Joe's going too. Okay, John and Joe are going.
John? Okay, take care, John. All right. So, and then the third thing it looks at is the next signal, which is this guy here. So, which I mean, I can change it on there, but it's, I don't really try to change the signals. But one of the things that I did create are, let's see here, where are they at? Routes.
Yeah.
So let's say that I want to go ahead and set a train for, this is track 1 at the top, track 5 at the bottom. So let's say I want to set track 4. All I got to do is come over here and click set. It changes everything for me, except for the fact that the tortoises are still connected to NCE, which is okay. But if I change the turnout with NCE through my controller, it doesn't update here.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm going the LCC route.
Right.
You can use a mini panel and put buttons on there and program a button to make all the changes, which the mini panel will update JMRI.
Yeah.
But if you use like your throttle, like a power cab or a pro cab, it won't. So
yeah.
But I still have a ways to go now. Like, and this is mainly only going to be for the main line for dispatch. So any turnouts that are on the main line will be on here. So if you look at Wiener Industrial, there's only one turnout that goes in here. However, there could be a couple more. And it's going to be the same thing like when I get to Hickory Ridge, which is, the area that I was just showing a while ago. I mean, there's bukus of turnouts.
Yeah.
But all of those turnouts are not going to be shown here because dispatch would not control what's on the inside or what's off the main. They only control what is either coming on the main, crossing the main, or is on the main.
Okay.
So, And that's what this is for. This is just basically a dispatch panel. And this is what they would actually look like. They're just basically straight lines with angles. They typically do not mimic the actual layout.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
for the lay of the land, in other words.
Yeah, well, that's what mine's going to be doing as well, even with my programmer as well. It's going to do exactly the same thing. So, but for me to get my signals going, I spent nearly a day and a half trying to get the right addresses just to get them going on the JMRI program. I've given up on my train controller program. The guys that done the program, they're scratching their heads. It's just whatever it is with that decoder, the decoder is not playing the game.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
You got one address, but it's actually you're programmed to one address, but it's actually the system's not reading that actual address. It's actually interpreting it as a different number.
All right. And so this is the
strange.
And this is the LCC stuff here. So if you looked, let me pull that sensor table up here. So these are the current 8 blocks that I currently have running on the layout, which is not all correct because I added a 5th track in Jonesboro. So Jonesboro 1 is actually Jonesboro 2, so forth and so forth.
Yeah.
Hold on just a second. Amanda just texted me. For those who follow Amanda, keep her mom in your thoughts and prayers. She ended up having a heart attack today. She's doing better, but she's going to be in the ICU for a couple of days. So Amanda's there with her. So
send her our love, okay?
Yeah,
all right.
Definitely will.
Okay.
All right, but anyways, so yeah, like these big numbers right here. So you got M502.01. So this is the first set of numbers here is assigned to a LCC node. And then this number here is assigned to a configuration on an LCC node. Yeah. So if you look here, the 02, 01, 5710, 032E, that's this node right here.
Yeah.
And this is all hexadecimal.
Yeah.
So I can open the configuration on this one, and this does a lot of the legwork. And when I do the demo layout, I'm making it to where this is doing all of the legwork and not just, because I don't plan on using Jeremiah on that demo layout. I plan on using all of this.
Yeah.
But you can go in here, put your names in, stuff like that. So no description. I did. I'm trying to remember. I think L was for light. I can't remember what I did. Yeah, light. That's what I did for that one. I should have did S for signal, and then OD is occupancy detector. So that way I've got those in there. So I kind of named it the way I needed to. So the IO port on this one has got the occupancy detector, so you can see where I created the names of my blocks.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm going to have to readjust these because since I added a track, and you just basically have all your settings per each one in here. But if you noticed, like if you got the events and stuff, they each have their own set of hexadecimal numbers.
Yeah.
And so that's how you can, but like adding the sensors is real easy. Because okay, because, like let's say that I want to do this sensor here. All right. So I guess what I need to do on a sensor, so active and inactive would be for your sensor. Thrown and closed would be for your turnout. So you can, and then you just hit make sensor, make turnout. And when you do that, it actually adds it over here for you. So when you're adding these, you really don't have to know all these numbers. You're just basically like, okay, I want to add, Wiener loop. So I need to come over here and I need to copy that number there.
Yeah.
And So highlight it, hit copy, put it down here for active, paste, and then come over here. This is inactive, copy it, copy, paste it down there, hit make sensor, and bam, it knows. And so you can see right now Jonesboro 1 is active, and that's because when I added the 5th track, it would technically be Jonesboro 2. But if I start moving that train, forward, you're going to see where Jonesboro Main is fixing to pop active.
Yeah.
It might take a second, but it's fixing to. Or it's supposed to. Yeah, see, now it shows active.
Yeah.
And so having your sensors set up, then that allows you to come in here into your panel. And I don't have this in edit mode, so let me go to edit mode and you can see it a little better. But you can right click on like a block that you put in there, and let's see here. Mainline decorations, view connections. Nope, that's not what I want. Let's try this dude here. Are you kidding me?
Things always play out when you want to show off.
Yep, here we go. Edit. That's what I was looking for. All right. So you can see that I've got that section of track listed Jonesboro Main. If I go and edit the block, there's my sensor, Jonesboro Main.
Yeah.
And I can even, now for people that are actually doing like actual automation, like I think James at Boulder Creek and Roy Eltham plan on doing, this is where you could actually add like the actual length of that section of track, what type of curvature is it, the speed, So
that's one thing I liked about the JMRI program, because you can actually...
you can do quite a bit with it.
Oh, yeah.
Like I don't do near as much as I could. The way I've got my stuff set up is I want my actives showing red, my inactives all showing black.
Yeah.
And then, adding my signals.
One thing I like about the JMRI program is, like, with the way my layout sits now, with some of my structures, I can actually put a block detector on the actual turnouts.
Yeah.
Which helps. Because you can actually see if the engine or the train or the car or whatnot has actually cleared that turnout.
Right.
Where the train programmer that I've got doesn't allow you to do that. Right? It'll only just give you a set distance of your actual block.
Gotcha.
If you don't understand what I mean. However, if your carriage is still hanging out of the actual block, it will actually, it does have its own interlocker where it says, no, you can't throw that turnout. But I haven't set it up to that yet. I haven't got that far advanced in it. There's still a few things in it. But with the I still will use the JMRI down the track. But for me to get the automation to work on it, that was a nightmare.
Oh, I bet.
That's been a nightmare for me. I'll get everything right, and then I've got to do another panel. Then they talk about, entry point, exit point, and all this sort of thing. And I just kept on going around in circles.
And see, that's something that, like I've seen some people, they'll go as far as doing their whole layout, every single spur, every single yard track, even putting in a roundhouse with the locomotive facilities.
Yeah.
On there. And I'm like, dispatch don't care about that stuff. Like, they really don't. All they care about is the main line. They just want to see if that main line is open. And if that main line's open, then they can control the flow of trains. When it comes to a yard or the locomotive facilities, that's where your yard master, which they don't really call it a yard master anymore, they call it a yard controller.
Yeah.
That person is responsible for that.
Yeah.
So, and if it's like an
it-
interchange yard where you've got, two railroads working together, the person who's over that yard's actually being paid by both railroads.
yeah.
Both railroads go in on that person together.
Hmm.
Or they might have, like say, one that works the morning hours is going to be paid by one railroad, and then one works the evening hours is going to be paid by another.
Yeah.
Which they,
way
work together, but still.
Yeah. The way I'm doing the way mine's going to be set up, which I've now worked on my schedules and whatnot, the train has actually got to be in its section for it to be dispatched. And obviously, you can do exactly the same thing with JMRI. And what it does, if the train's not on that track for the time it's meant to leave, it misses the what do you call it? It misses its slot, and it's got to wait for the next one because it does its own calculations in the system. Like you can see at the moment, like she's sleeping. I've got a passenger train in the shed. If I didn't have that train in there, that nothing will run. It will give the priority to whatever next is in sequence.
Right.
Until the train gets into that spot. Is in my let me try to get the big screen up.
So Nancy, Jack chose to go with a different system than what I'm going with. And so the system that he is running, I have no clue how to help him with all the technicalities. Now, if he ever wanted to convert to LCC, which, I mean, there's an NMRA standard out there, but it's, he went with a proprietary system. I went with something that was NMRA standardized. So I guess that would be the difference. Because, I mean, you could use LCC, you could use CT, custom signaling systems. He's got his own stuff, his own electronics, which, I mean, I am a distributor for him as well, but I only look at the signals, not his signal controlling stuff, because, that was before LCC. I mean, LCC, it stands for Layout Command Control. It's not connected to your DCC system or your DC, and it really doesn't work very well with DC.
So
yeah, I know a lot of people.
I'll show you.
So yeah, Nancy, I know a lot of people are not a fan of the NMRA, but because something is an NMRA standard doesn't necessarily mean that they're part of the NMRA. So it's just basically manufacturers that are trying to work with other manufacturers to have a standard type system.
Yeah, well, it's going to get that way. So because there are stuff out there that people want, and one will make the model and the other one doesn't. They got to try to come up with some neutral point.
Well, I mean, you think of it this way.
So they can run together.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you think of it this way, let's say that you got a manufacturer that's proprietary goes out of business. That means you trying to get replacement parts after they've gone out of business is going to be really, really hard to do. However, if you go with a manufacturer that is standardized, now I know LCC right now, there's only one manufacturer, so this is kind of a moot point. But, let's take DCC, for example. You got a lot of manufacturers. So let's say that Digitrax was to end up going out of business. All right. Then
you just go ahead and explain. I'm going to go and get a
okay. So,
cover.
If I'm trying to get my words and my thoughts together, So, let's say Digitrax goes out. Well, that doesn't mean DCC is dead because you got NCE. You've got DigiKeys. TCS is still out there. So that's the thing I'm saying about that. But, let's say that, Broadway Limited's decoders, they're proprietary. They're not as easily interchangeable as like ESU, TCS, and Soundtracks and Digitrax. So that's kind of, the reason why I try not to go with proprietary systems, especially on my main layout. I try to go with something that is somewhat standardized. So now, does Jack work for the railroad, or does he work for a industry that the railroad serves? Because I thought he worked for an industry that the railroad served. Because he's always doing videos at the industry, at that one industry, and not any others. But, I've also, like, Split Rock, Thomas, he works for Union Pacific. And then, of course, I've got my friend Steven that was on my live stream a couple of times. He just retired, or did an early retirement from Union Pacific, not by choice. And then I've got my friend Phil Hollingsworth, who used to work for BNSF, and now he works for Amtrak. So, okay, so he does also work for the actual railroad when called to. So, does he work for Union Pacific, or I wonder what? See, that's what I thought, Roy. I thought he was at some industry, which they use plastic pellets to make that pipe. I'm curious as to which railroad he fills in for as like a dire need situation. I'm just curious. Oops.
Sorry
There
about
goes
that.
my AC unit. If anyone is annoyed by my AC unit, just say in the chat and I'll go turn it off.
Your AC unit, has it got a heater in it?
Yes, it does have a heat pump.
Good, send it over.
You know how much freight shipping? You know how much shipping costs right now?
That should be right.
Yeah, I'll
Just
put it
send
this
the
way.
bill.
I sent a guy some detail stuff that lives in Texas.
Yeah.
In a padded in a bubble mailer. All it was a few detail parts, some LED lights that I had. They were the 0306s that I use for my locomotives.
Yeah.
And some decals.
Yeah.
And it cost me almost $20 to ship that from Arkansas to Texas.
How much?
Almost $20 UPS.
That's not too bad. At least you know it's going to get there.
Yeah.
So to speak. At least you know it's going to get there. When you look at the shipping prices here, I mean, we're paying quite a fair bit here. Yeah, we pay a fair bit. I mean,
so Roy is annoyed at somebody's beard. I think he's trying to tell you to go shave, Artie.
Trying to tell me to shave. Who's telling me to shave? Hang on, I'm just trying to.
Container man. I can pull it up on the screen.
He's talking about your beard.
Oh, my beard.
Yeah.
But my beard ain't up on the screen.
Neither is mine. Okay, the way I got my layout set up.
Oh, so he is talking about my beard. See, the only reason why he wants me to shave my beard is because he's jealous that he can't grow a beard like I can. That's what it is.
I want to grow mine back again, but I've got to look half decent for your bloody officials up at the embassy.
Yeah,
Up in
don't even
Sydney.
get me started on them.
Oh, so the way my layout works, this line here, where my hand is now, that's actually my main track. But it's designed for my electric trains. So all my electric trains come in here and they'll go on the inside. Right? This one here is my departure track or my steam departure track, and that's my steam arrival. So when my steam engines come in, they go in the coal tower, get fueled up, and into the roundhouse. And where this one is...
Hold on, Artie. Roy, that's a little bit too much information, buddy.
What's he doing?
He said that's true, but he shaved everything.
Yeah, well, yeah, I can understand why he does that. Yeah, it's all right. I understand why you did it, Roy. Only us truck drivers can understand that.
Yep, see, even Nancy's like TMI. Dude, what kind of switcher engine is that over there on the left, over there by the intermodal?
The little one?
Yeah, on the far left. It's stopped right now. Okay, now it's backing up.
That one there, that's our little 70 class. We used to have them down here in Port Kembla.
That looks like a short version of the genset.
Yeah. Now, they are actually hydraulically driven. They're hydraulically driven. They are actually got, what do you call it? The rods on the side on the wheels.
Gotcha.
They're my little favourite ones. I need to get another couple of TCS Dakotas. I've got a couple of more, but the only TCS Dakotas are actually fit nicely inside them. I'm just going to match them all up because that's what those ones came with. And they got a built-in current keeper in them.
Gotcha.
They work pretty good. And I'll tell you what, with this program, because I've got to do the speed profile, and they're so beautiful to work with. I've got to say they're easier to work with than the Soundtracks Dakotas. And you know me, I prefer my Soundtracks Dakotas.
Soundtracks is the way to go.
Yeah. Now, where she is here, that's basically my arrival for my freight trains. Like my coal train, my sand, and whatever needs to be serviced, that all come in on that track. But the main dispatch is basically that one there and this one here.
Yeah.
I'm having problems with my three-way underneath my...
Jeff, this is Artie's layout. If you want to see my layout, he's got to pull me back on screen, and I can kind of show you what I've got.
There you go.
All right, let me zoom out because you're going to see the messy room. So this is the upper deck that I'm working on. If you look close to where my hand is, this over here is going to be the bottom deck. So it's 18 inches difference between the upper deck and the bottom deck. This over here is staging. So it's a point-to-point railroad, but I'm putting balloon loops on both ends. So that way I can do a continuous run if I wanted to. So all of this up here, the grid where you can see my tote full of plaster of Paris, eventually that'll get filled in as I complete the scenery in the back corner. So I have to kind of work my way out. All right, so this is what I call the town of Wiener, Arkansas. It is a real town, but this is not a prototype layout of Wiener. So just my layout's completely freelance. However, the names of the towns are prototypical and the routes are prototypical. All right, so start there. Let's zoom out. Okay, so we're already. Yeah. All right, and so we're gonna slide all the way over here, and this is the town of Hickory Ridge, which is going to be an industrial switching area. The industry on the bottom, that is Passmore Gas, so they are going to be receiving LPG. Yeah, I am still adding. Dude, I've got a lot to add. I still have a whole level to build. The building that you can see the foundation and like that little stub piece of track, that's going to be my Budweiser plant, which I just got my Budweiser animated Miller engineering board in the other day. So that's going to be really fun to put in. And then the next building, the backdrop building that's got a track going through it, that's one of Nancy's favorite buildings, and that's the Shack-A-Sit Furniture Company. And then the far building, so I'm going to zoom in. And so this is the building. Oops, sorry. I'm still trying to get used to this camera, y'all. So the big building that's got like, 2 tracks that are going in it, and then it's got, 2 other tracks on the outside. That is Wilson and Company. That was what I was calling Juicy J's Meat, but now it's Wilson and Company. So that way I can use those Wilson and Company reefer cars, which I still need a few more of those. The Walder's kit is actually a building that I'm going to be using for the cleaning track, where they would actually steam clean the reefer cars after they unloaded the meat carcasses out of them. So, okay. Now, behind Wilson and Company, you can see a few cars back there. That is Brinkley, and that's my interchange track between the Cotton Belt and the Rock Island. We're going to have Morton Salt here, so we got a few cars there for Morton Salt. We're going to have an industry there. Not 100% settled on the name for it, but it's going to be a textile plant. And then where the two Wilson reefer cars are behind my passenger train is going to be an icing dock there. And then I don't think you're going to be able to see it, but behind these buildings that you see are not going to go there. They're just sitting there just to be sitting there for the time being. But there is a track behind those buildings, and there'll be another backdrop building there, and it's going to be like a canned fruit, canned vegetable factory. So it's going to be canned produce, where they receive fresh produce and turn it into canned produce. All right, zoom out a little bit. So that's all Brinkley. The little hole in the wall, that comes back here where I am, and that's my Rock Island staging track. So that's where the Rock Island will come out. And Jeff, that is actually an FP7. And then this is as far as I've got the bench work built, and this is where the White River is going. So, and he says he saw my F7. So we'll zoom in on it. That's an Athearn Genesis. And it's actually a FP7. Whoops, hold on. There we go. Because it's got the steam generator on top of the roof right over that 306 on the back. No, it's not going to be called Freak Tile Company.
That blue building that you got, what brand is that from? Keep going. That one.
Menards.
I'm just thinking.
Right. And it's got animated signs on the front and the back. And the 2 gray boxes on the top have red LEDs that blink.
Oh, cool. Actually, I'm just thinking that will make a good little.
Well, and I've got another building
sand dryer.
Yeah, so that's actually like that Cotton Belt covered hopper is bringing in bulk unrefined salt. It would drop it off at this salt elevator. which then they would send into the factory, which I don't have the factory built. I've got the building kit. I've got building kits for all of these buildings. I just haven't put them all together yet. And I'm basically going to, it's a brick building kit, but I'm going to take some paper and color it the same color blue as that building and kind of rip part of it out and glue it onto the brick to make it look like plaster. And then some of the plasters come off.
Yeah.
So that's going to be my Morton Salt Company, which basically takes unrefined salt, refines it, and ships it out. But that is one of my Menards buildings, which are so nice.
I'd actually like to get one of them and do it up as a sand drying facility.
Yeah. I don't know if we'll be able to see my other... we could barely see it. All right, so I got to zoom in and get over to it. So you can see that I've been back here working on scenery a little bit. All right, so we got Riceland right in front of us. But if we look, the green roof building is another Menards building.
Yeah.
And that's a Gamer and Thrones. So it's a toilet factory. And the toilet that's right in front of your eyes actually spins. So... And then there's the community barn that my friend John worked on. Probably look better if, let's see. Well, the layout lights are on. So
Can you manage to get the steps and that for your silo?
No, I haven't bought the steps yet. I just haven't bought them yet. Walters makes them. Like I said, I just haven't bought them.
I know my guy up the road who's up in Sydney's got some. I've got to get up there before my surgery and get some track off him. If I'm already grabbing some, I'll get them because they're still on the old prices.
So where the tortoises are right there on top of the layout. So that's where the bench work's going to 45 over towards the corner where you see those two 1x4s holding that corner up.
Yeah.
All right. So it's going to 45 over there. And so that track that just ends will curve. And that's going to be the other piece of the balloon loop. And inside the balloon loop, I'm going to have another industry, and it's going to be my Tetanus Scrap Company. So it'll be a scrap processing plant. Yeah, and Menards has got some really good stuff. I don't know if my church is on my layout. It might be. No, it's not. Okay, so the church is not on the layout. When I bought Gamer and Thrones, I ended up getting a church. No, it wasn't Gamer and Thrones. It was my station. I've got two other Menards buildings that are not on the layout yet. And it was my station that I bought, which they don't make that one no more. And I ended up getting a model power church for free. And it's the same church that Rick and Nisi did. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is my layout. And, of course, there's me right there. You get to see the back of my head. And if you want to see what camera I'm using, that camera sitting on that blue box right there, that is the camera that I'm actually using. That's my second camera, and I'm going to have to mount it. Whoa. I got to mount it over here somewhere.
Okay.
So that way I can cover the other corner of the room.
Yeah, Roy, I'm trying to do something different. I'm trying to do something like some of the plants where I used to go to and the transport of sand and material over here by road. And I want to try and imitate something like that. Plus, I'm restricted to space on how to put certain industries on my layout because I'm only going to have basically 4.5 foot by 8 foot long in the main board. So I've got to try to fit as much as I can without making it a real cluster. What's the word?
And that can get tough to do.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
look at
Because
my plant here. My walls are 20 feet long, and
yeah.
just getting stuff to fit, like I got
See,
lucky. I got real
yeah,
lucky that I had a little space right there for that locomotive.
yeah, yeah.
But I didn't want my main line up against the front edge of the layout. I kind of wanted it off the back a little bit.
Yeah.
So that way I could put some scenery in front of it, and have some really, really cool camera shots. And, one of the things that I do plan on doing is putting in toggle switches to control every single turnout on the layout. So you don't have to get up there and actually control it. And then I'm using neodymium magnets for uncoupling.
Yeah. Yeah. You see, I was thinking about doing. You see, I've been tossing up where regarding my layout to do. What do you call it? Single track doing a climb with passing sidings, or do I do double track continuous? And I've been playing with the program because I'm going to stick to the train controller. Which one will work better without any complications? And I found out it's going to be nicer. It'd be easier for me if I just do it double track.
Yeah.
All
right,
okay.
Kurt, take care.
See you later, Kurt. I'm mainly going to be my layout, because I'm going to be pushed for space. The main 4.5 by 8 foot layout is basically going to be a main line running.
Yeah.
Right. And where I am at now, I can still do this section here and the next layer up the top, point to point, as such.
Right.
I can run the train from the top down the bottom. But a lot of my trains are going to be mainly the passenger trains. All right. And of course, passenger trains, a lot of that is main line running. But if I can actually have a dual line climbing up, and somewhere on the line, I'm going to just throw in like an industry, like a coal mine or something like that along the way.
Yeah.
Now, as you know, I'm doing away with a helix to get
Well,
up
see,
to my next.
I'm putting a helix in.
Yeah, but you got the room to put a helix in there. I
Oh,
don't.
yeah, I know. And see, and I'm going to put an industry in the middle of the helix on the top level. Of course, I can't do it on the bottom level, but
yeah,
the top level is going to have an industry in the middle of it instead of doing like a mountain, kind of like how Roy Smith did on his Panama Roy.
Yeah.
But yeah, mine's going to have a sawmill in it.
Yeah.
So where, they could take pulpwood and either turn it into boards or turn it into wood chips, one or the other.
Yeah.
That's my plan there. I will have a freight depot on the bottom level. I still got my cattle ranch that's going on the bottom level. And I was even thinking about putting in a power plant with a rotary dumper on the bottom level and doing actual live coal loads. Or a smaller power plant with a rotary dumper.
Yeah.
Not doing like a full coal unit train, but like 2 or 3 coal cars per, the southbounds. Or coming from the northbound. But, and of course I've got a passenger train on mine too, but the way I set my trains up, the train numbers, the train schedule, I'll do another share real quick. It's just easier. Let's see here. Which one I want to do? Yeah, we'll just go ahead and do entire screen share. I know that gets trippy, don't it? All right. So like right here. So from the YAMB all the way to number 8, minus this Hick Ridge Industrial, those are all trains that I found on an actual times table.
Right.
And I put their times exactly the way it's supposed to be. So now the only one that's fictitious coming into my layout is the Ashley Durham Northern. But I did find a times table that showed that they only had one train that went out, train 1, and then on the return path it was train 2. So, which is interesting. So, like I said, I'm going with prototypical towns, prototypical routes, minus the Ashley Durham Northern, because they never made it to Pine Bluff. They made it to Monticello was their endpoint. But my story is that they made it to Pine Bluff. And because I really like the ADNN for some reason. And of course, I went to college in Monticello. And
Right.
so that's my tie to that railroad. And then, of course, the Rock Island trains 33 and 34 wasn't a local. It was actually a main line that went from Little Rock to Memphis and back. But I couldn't find any information on their locals, so I just turned it into a local. But one of the things that I found out on the Cotton Belt, so you got a passenger train here and a passenger train there. So and these are overnighters. So this one would be coming into Jonesboro at 5:15 in the morning, meaning that it left St. Louis overnight. This one's leaving the Pine Bluff Yard headed for Jonesboro at 22:35. So there was no dedicated passenger trains going south of Pine Bluff in 1958, which is the year I'm modeling. However, all of their locals would have a chair or a coach on the back.
Yeah.
So their locals was dual freight and passenger. Or they would have those really long cabooses. I can't remember what they're called. There's a name for them.
Yeah, I remember.
A lot of the cattle trains had them for the farm hands and whatnot. But they would use passenger in their cabooses as well. And so
actually, the one that you're talking about, there is actually a picture of one of those on Anthony Dodges. You know how he does his series, Matt Clark series. You know, when he's got that steam engine, there's actually one of those caboose / passenger cars on that.
All right, so let me find the right one. And there is a model of it, but it's in brass. Here it is. That's it.
Yeah, I got one of them.
Yeah.
So,
Roundhouse made something similar, which is trying to find one. Roundhouse did something very similar.
Yeah, I bought one off eBay last year. Yeah,
they call them drovers.
Yeah.
So they would use those on their local if they didn't use a passenger car on the back end.
Yeah.
And then they would have a caboose on the back end of the passenger car too. So if it wasn't like a full-fledged passenger train and it was a local. So, yeah, here we go. There's Hallmark models. That's it right there.
Okay. I bought one on eBay last year, and it was made out of wood. Scratch built. I'll have to dig it up. The guy didn't do too bad of a job, but I actually bought it for another reason. I was actually going to put pantographs on it. They use it as one of the old cars that we had here when they were doing electrification.
Container Man, paper plant. Pine Bluff had 2 paper plants. They had a bag plant, which was Used to be Gaylord, then it turned into Delta Natural Craft. Now it's Mondi. But the big one you're thinking of used to be International Paper, and now it's Evergreen. So I think they were both bag plants. They made like paper bags. Now, the big paper plant, they had their own switcher engine. So they had an interchange between the interchange was actually on the Mopac, but the cotton belt had tracks that paralleled the Mopac to that interchange yard, and then on the other end of the interchange was the paper plant or the International Paper. You can barely see the cotton belt tracks from satellite imaging or where it would have been. It's pretty much grown up now. But that's that big paper plant that's over there close to the casino when you made your delivery a few years ago, Rory. So I'm not putting in a paper plant on this layout because I'm going to let the Ashley Durham Northern take all the wood chips back to their paper plant. It's not prototypical, but, why the heck not?
Yeah, well, what I'm going to do is like I'm going to have my basically my passenger trains run from the top, right? I'm going to have like I've got my Union Pacifics and again, and also with the American trains like the Crescent, the Cardinal, and the Capital. I can actually have it running from the top, and it's going to run down the mountain, and then it's going to go into a hidden loop underneath the 4x8, right? And it'll sit till its time's up, and then it will return back up to the top into its arrival track where I'll break it up and switch the engines around. And in between all that, I'm going to have my local express and my what do you call it, suburban trains squeezed in between doing their various stops. So there's always but those will be running continuously pretty much.
Gotcha.
And then with my freight trains, I'm going to be driving them manually in between everything. So it's going to be an operational challenge. I'm going to be running them the way that we run the trains here on the South Coast.
So with my Morning Star, some of the stations are what we call flag stops.
Yeah.
And so whoever's operating might end up getting, having to stop at a station that might not be on the times table to stop.
Yeah.
But I know like where that baggage car is currently sitting, right there at that crossover, I got to scratch build a depot because the Rock Island and the Cotton Belt, their depot was one big building.
Yeah.
But they had and it was an L-shaped building, but their ticket offices and waiting rooms were on opposite ends of the building.
Right.
And that building's still standing. It's still there today.
Okay. Yeah. There's just so much we can actually do. I mean, you can do all sorts. This is what I like about this hobby. We can do all sorts of things here in the operational wise. You can have endless operation. You can. And the fun part is when you try to recreate buildings and scenes and whatnot. I actually enjoy doing that. And if you can't replicate the identical, you go, well, let me create my own form of engineering, my own form of construction, like what I'm going to be doing with my main station, because I just cannot find a suitable kit to do what I have to make it look right at the station, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's all got to blend in somehow, and that's going to be the challenge. Yeah.
Well, anytime you're like, for me, you know, a lot of my buildings are backdrop buildings, just trying to make it look good, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a challenge anytime you try to do something into the backdrop.
Yeah. As you can see to the left of me here, just trying to get this blended in right to look to what it's meant to be. That was the hardest part. But I was lucky I
Yeah.
was able to find this picture, and that was close to my lake, even though that's meant to be a river. That's close to my lake scene just outside of me here. But I'm finding this program at the moment that I'm using now pretty good to do my automation. But it looks like I'm going to have to upgrade it to the gold to get it to have the train stop at specific stations along the way. But I'm going to play around with it at the moment to see if I can do it on this without having to upgrade.
Roy, I'm not aware of a sand plant, even though there is Pine Bluff Sand and Gravel. But Pine Bluff Sand and Gravel was right off of the river, which they would dredge the Arkansas River. That's pretty much what they did.
Mm.
I don't. They might have had a sand plant there, but I really don't think so. I could be wrong.
We did have we did have one up in Newcastle. Well, one in Newcastle, one in Sydney, where they did the washing of the sand and drying of the sand. I know they had a big one up there in Newcastle where they did the drying of the sand, because you used to have a big, huge engine depot roundhouse up at Newcastle.
Yeah.
For the big steam engine, the big garage. So they were drying the sand up there. Then another one was in Sydney, but I believe the one in Sydney's been knocked down because they demolished a lot of the old yards where they made the old steam engines and that on the western side of Sydney. They knocked all that down. They cleaned it all up.
Yeah.
I think some of it's turned into intermodal yard now too.
Now, Roy, if anyone would know if it's I-49 in Louisiana, that would be Robert Flying Crow, because he's originally from Bossier City. So he's from Bossier City and Shreveport.
Yeah.
So he would know that. I don't know, to be honest. Pine Bluff had they were mainly paper. And yeah, Dave, we're still going, unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever way you want to take it.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna have to call it quits, my dear friend.
I need to call it quits here. It's getting late, and I've got Aaron by myself tonight. So, but no, Pine Bluff was mostly it was right on the edge of what we call the Delta and the Gulf Coastal Plain, which is mostly woodlands. So Pine Bluff was a split between lumber, which of course you get paper. So that's one they had 2 paper plants. And then also poultry was big in that area too. Like Tyson Chicken there's 2 Tyson chicken plants in Pine Bluff. And then the other side is all farmland in the Delta. So that's where you get like Riceland and Producers, rice meal, and so yeah.
See, around here, the main industry we had here, apart from the steelworks, when you're talking about the produce side of things, the livestock side of things, our main industry here, one that's still going on, that's the dairy industry. And back in its heyday, we used to have a lot of sheep and that and livestock, because we used to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 abattoirs here. We had 5
Nancy,
amateurs.
we're almost on 3 hours. We're at 2 hours and 54 minutes.
Daryl went to have a 45 minutes of sleep, and then we're still here. I'm still here. But
Well,
yeah,
I'm fixing to take me an 8-hour nap. So
yeah, I used to have an hour nap, but it's getting close to my nap time. So anyway, thanks so much for coming on, Jason.
yeah, I wish I could have got on sooner, but I jumped on as soon as I got home.
No, that's fine. Did you get the hobby shop at least?
No, I didn't get to go.
Oh, what a bummer. Okay,
I know it.
There's always Monday. Yeah, I don't know if they're still on stream. I'm not sure whether I'm going to be doing my stream from home or whether I'm going to be doing my live stream out of a steam train. I'm going for a ride on the 59 next Sunday if I can get tickets. I just heard it going down to Kiama now. In the distance, I am going to try to go and get a shots of her at a different location today. About 5 o'clock. It's going to be freezing bloody cold because we're getting those very cold Antarctica winds have been blowing up the coast at the moment, and it is freezing. Even though I haven't got the snow, it is bloody cold. The chill factor.
Yeah.
You know what it's like when Canada's decide to have wind fart during winter time. You know how cold it gets. Yeah, that's how cold it gets here too. When the penguins fart down south. So I'm hoping to do that. I'm also going to try to get some tickets to go on. You went on for that stream. You might like this one, Jason. We are going. Trying to get a ticket on a double-header excursion up in Newcastle, which is on the other side of Sydney. They're bringing up a train from Melbourne that was modified from broad gauge to go on standard gauge. And she's going to be double heading with the 59 class.
Oh, nice.
So we're going to have an oil burner and a coal burner double heading together.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. So I'm going to try to get the tickets on that on Monday. So hopefully nobody wins this because I'm going to be tight in cash. But it's not a bad trip. That one up at the double head is a $90 ticket, and it's an all-day ticket, and it includes meals and that on the actual.
Oh, then that ain't bad. That ain't bad if it includes meals.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Well, before you hop off, I want to remind everyone that tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern, you got John with Schuylkill River Valley is hosting Sidetrack Sunday.
Yep.
And I don't know if he's going to be working on his diorama or what he plans on doing. I have no clue. He hasn't discussed anything. I do know that this month I will not be hosting Sidetrack Sunday for any week. Ray is going to be hosting for Father's Day weekend, which would typically be my week. I've got a family camp out that weekend, and then the next weekend, me and Aaron are going off for summer camp for scouts. So,
you're coming over, are you? Don't forget your long johns.
No, I ain't coming over there. Where I'm going to be at, it's going to be hot. So
okay.
Yeah. So supposedly Heath will still continue. Ray's going to fill in for me on week 3, and then I don't know if Ray is going to do week 4 or if Rick will do it or who will do it. We don't know yet.
Okay. So, it's good to be able to spend a bit of family time.
8 o'clock Eastern tomorrow, John.
All right. Yeah. All right then. Again, thank you for coming along, Jason. Thank you very much for the viewers, and of course, we still got that race to 500 challenge that's going on at the moment between Ray and Rick. And of course, there's a sweetener from both Jason and myself. If I get
Ray is at 500, and let's see here. And Rick is at 500.
So it's neck and neck to see who's going to hold on between them two now. But Ray's back on the top because Rick lost a spot.
Well, Ray hit, when Rick fell below, Ray hit 500 before Rick hit 500 again. So, if Ray drops, if they both drop, then whoever hits 500 again,
Yeah.
But, don't forget my contest is still in there as well, that they both have to hold 500 for a week.
Yeah.
Before I hit 1,200.
Yeah. And I'm same with 200.
And I'm only 6 away.
Really?
Yeah.
Where you plucking yours out? All I've got is 3 in 24 hours. Oh,
yeah, I'm at 1194.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well.
So.
Good.
All right, bud.
All right, buddy. I'll take care. See you later, Roy. You take care. You recover real quick. I know it's a pain in the butt being sick and when you got to go out and work, but I'll see you guys during the week and hopefully see you guys on the live stream next week. All right. So bye for now.
All right.
Bye,
take
Jason.
care, everyone. Bye.
Bye.